Everything, not only one thing, everything. So this would be your breaker. Okay. That's your breaker, right? Which is that one. Okay. Somebody did ask me the previous question. I think I took the wrong breaker. I took this one, but it's this whole move. This whole candle is your 4-hour breaker, but your refined breaker. I don't refine much further than 1 hour. That's my 1 hour breaker. Okay. So then now we have 2 points of interest. Can we see our order block? On our 4-hour was that area, right? So this is our breaker. Let's do this. Breaker, that's our breaker. This is our point of interest. Okay. Point of interest such as order block. Oh, now I want to show you something. Now you go and look for probabilities, right? So number one, we know that this is also a demand zone. Okay. Number one. Number two, this order block. Is there in our 4-hour order block, a 1-hour order block? Can you guys hear me? Testing, 1, 2.
Yes,
You
yes.
repeat yourself?
Okay, cool. Is there a 1 hour? So we can see on the 4-hour there was an order block, right? But is there, however, on the 1 hour order block?
No.
Looks the
No.
same.
No.
Would that then be a valid point of interest?
Not really.
Not
'Cause
really.
no alignment.
Exactly. There's no alignment, right? So then this, I will eliminate this as a point of interest. So then I am left with 1 point of interest, my breaker zone. Okay. Now I tap into, I just rewind. I want to see what's happening here. Let's go down to 15 minutes. Not going to refine my breaker, but what I will do is I will search for other confluences. What is this?
Liquidity trend.
Right? So there's liquidity there.
We can also look at a breaker block on the left, right?
There's some imbalance here. We said we can look at a breaker on the left. This one.
Sorry, my mic was muted. That one, and then the one a bit lower.
That one.
No, the right one. Up. The one you were pointing out earlier.
This one.
Other one.
Sorry.
I was
Kind
drawn
of-
with. So
Okay.
this one for like a bit higher time frame, and then this one for the lower.
Okay. We can see that this one, quickly want to explain to you this one. We can see this one could have been a possible one, right? But look at what they did here. They left imbalance here at that area. And what did they immediately come back to do? They came back to
Take it.
close that imbalance. In order for us, that shows me that they don't want to come back to this area. They immediately closed their tracks here. They're not interested in coming back here very quickly. Now, what they possibly could do is, right, because we know that they have other confluences at the bottom, because there was, what's it, equal lows at the bottom. There's also some liquidity there. There's always liquidity everywhere in the market, but we have to find other different confluences. Now, what I would do is I would take this trade, right? If if this was my analysis, I would take in this trade because I saw the change of character, the break of structure, and then the breaker on the higher time frame for the
Yeah.
continuation. So this would be my point of interest, right? Then I would monitor because it's a higher time frame. It's my 4-hour time frame. So whenever price comes to this area, I would monitor it. And when I see a change of character, I will enter. And if I see a change of character happening in my point of interest, I will then take my entry on my risk entry of my point of my change of character here. After we had the change of character.
So Michael, you then saturated in the point of interest.
Yes, possibly. And not necessarily my remember what we said about a true change of character, right? So this is my first step. My second step, it respects it, and my third step is a change break of structure. And then your confirmation entry on a change of character is this one. This one. But this is your risk entry. But I would enter on my risk entry in my point of interest. Because then my stop loss, let's say this didn't come to Sasha, this came here, right? In relevant, let's say there, yeah, in our discount. That would be my trade then. Possibly higher. Like I'm entering 4 hours. I had a change of character. Yeah, that would be my point of interest.
Marco? No, Michael.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so okay, I'm not referring to USD JPY. I'm looking at just talking about Nasdaq in general. So you know when market opened and there was a gap on some brokers, right? But on other
Yes.
brokers there was no gap, right? And now currently if you go back on live, Nasdaq is returning back up. It's like past your golden zone now, somewhere there.
Really? Okay, nice.
So here's the thing. So on this broker you're looking at, there's a gap, right? Normally they would want to close this gap as it's also seen as an imbalance for us, right?
Yeah.
But then on other brokers there isn't that gap. So what do we take? Because people say that they'd like to close this.
Okay, what I would do then is I would just fish on other brokers, right? So even on TradingView, I'm on different brokers because of this sometimes that it happens. So I'm at
Okay.
3 different brokers. And even if you have maybe a live account, but you don't deposit anything into that, you use it as a scout broker, by example, right? So we can see here that there is a major imbalance, right?
Yeah.
But other brokers, it doesn't show that for us. Then we just go fish on other brokers and we see still this major imbalance.
Yeah.
Did I ask
It's,
the question?
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All good. And then what I would do here is we can see that there was a change of character on the change of character.
But Marco, quick question. This change of character could just be a retracement to a continuity of a buy, right?
Yes, it could. It could.
And okay, thank you.
Let's look at that. Let's look at the higher time frame. So we had a
Break of structure.
so would it be wise to buy at that area now?
No.
No.
Not at all. Not at all. But look at this as well. I want to show you this. Equal highs.
Hmm.
So they really are always busy generating liquidity. Always. I absolutely love liquidity. Because if you can see that, you can spot that, then you won't be part of it.
So, Michael, can I ask you one thing again?
You can.
So would you say, because I see that the gap was closed on this broker, right? And then on the others, it was not closed and stuff. But would you say the gap also qualifies as an imbalance? Because
Yes, it does.
now you can see an imbalance. The very same gap that was there. It is the very same gap that is on a chart that doesn't have data there. So aren't they the same?
Yes, it is the same. It's what I don't know. I didn't catch your name, but the other guy asked me the same question. So it is an imbalance. Okay.
So we can use it as imbalance as well.
Yes,
Because
you can definitely, yes. Okay, so there we can see that we had a gap, but on the other brokers, we saw that it was major imbalance. Okay. But again, quickly
Michael,
just
looking at this
rephrase.
current situation,
Yes.
like you said, on the higher time frame, there's it's creating equal highs. So then wouldn't this, like where your Sasha is now, would you still take an entry there knowing they might liquidate the 0 point
No, I won't, because
of
remember
your
on the
Sasha?
high time frame, even on the 1 hour, right? We made equal highs on the daily. Okay. Can you see? But still on the 1 hour, we are still in a bullish run. And on the 1 hour, we were respecting the golden zone. So that was actually, if you wanted to trade
Which is
NASDAQ now,
continuation.
yeah, it was just a continuation. So that was your move if you wanted to trade NASDAQ here. Let's just, for interest's sake, see if we had a change of character. Which we did.
I think, Michael, I think there was.
Yeah, there was.
There, yeah. I did end on the trade. There.
There we had our
Yes.
change of character. And then,
Then it came to the Sasha zone.
yeah. Gosh, I hate this freaking reverse thingy the whole time. Anyway. Yo. Just. But yeah, that was your trade. And then why was this? You've got to ask yourself, like, why did they tap into this area specifically? Okay, we can't see it because it's 1 minute though. Where's the point of interest now? So say, for instance, this happened. I want you to tell me now, what would your next move be if you missed this move? So we missed this move. What's our next point of interest?
The next breaker.
Yeah, we want to see this get taken out first. So we want to see this high gets taken out. But we know that they are creating equal highs now. Okay. So we want to see this high get taken out. Then we know we changed character. Right? Bear with me, because there was our change of character. Right? There was our break of structure. There was another break of structure. Are you with me? Now, this is now our trading range on the 15 minutes. If this does, however, gets taken out, we have a change of character again. Then what do?
Sure.
Sasha, where's our breaker?
Golden zone.
Okay. That's our breaker. Do we have a order block?
Yes.
There's our order block. It's a very small order
Michael,
block. Hold up, hold up, hold up. It's fish on the smaller time frames, right? There's our breaker. There's imbalance. Is there ever an order block?
no, no.
Not. But based off of how strong Sasha is, this would be my point of interest after we had a change of character. Okay.
But then, Michael,
Yes.
how would you, if like you say, you'd wait for the Sasha zone, but then would you enter again on the golden zone once it's left the Sasha zone?
You know what I would do? I would take 2 entries. That's what I did today, right? And the first one was successful. So I would wait till price. If this shows me a break of structure, price would most likely come to mitigate this area, right? And in the mitigation, it'll show you what it will like, what likely it will do. Okay. If we can see then that they are busy creating liquidity to the downside, I won't buy
It's most likely to go to Sasha.
because then they will go to Sasha. If it does, however, something like this, and just takes off. It didn't show us a change of character, but on the lower time frame, it maybe will. Okay. But what I wanted to show you was it mitigated it. You will see like this. You can see here. Can you see on the 1 minute, this mitigation? Okay. So they push price up. This is price action. So push price up, then they come down. They push price up again to come down to try and take it out again. They failed for the first time. They kind of failed for the second time. Look at this mitigation. This was the decider for the sell. Okay. But I
So
don't
Michael,
want to confuse you guys with some unnecessary information. Based off of just what you've learned, right? This would be your 2 points of interest.
so
Now we-
Michael,
Yes.
on this entry, on this trade, the market structure, right? So I don't see any, except for the golden zone, I don't see anything that would have made me buy from the lowest point. You see that lowest point? If you move your case on the Sasha point,
Yeah.
you see, because when I look to my left, I don't see a breaker being mitigated. I don't see anything. It's just that. But if you move from your point, from your lowest point, like, please, what is zoom out again? Yeah, you see the lowest point. Go to your left, please.
This one.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
there's a high one, right? So it would have been our ranging point, right? Our range point from that low to the highest point.
Yes.
So that would have been our range. And then if you take your fib from the lowest to that point of the highest point, then it would have given you the golden zone or the discount. The
Yes.
discount, right? So now there's nothing else that says, there's no breaker block, there's no, unless if you're talking about those smaller ranges, which then to me would qualify as a
Fractal.
point of demand and whatnot.
Yes, this was just basically this was your point of interest. It was your golden zone, and then your Sasha zone was your point of interest, right? We didn't have our breaker, but remember we are busy on a bullish run. Okay, So there was created liquidity. They just took the liquidity, but there was no breaker for them here to tap into. But however, we had a change of character in our golden zone.
Okay. So that would
Okay.
have been the only confirmation for us to enter that trade.
Yes.
Nothing else. Okay.
Yes.
Michael, sorry again.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
So about like what you're saying about the breaker, right? So easily price can still return back to the breaker on the 4-hour or 1 hour and then buy up. And this could have just been liquidity where it just came down to make that low.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah. 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 No, I won't really say it was relevant. Let's look on the 1 minute what happened there. It was just a fractal retracement, more retracement. 2. Try and like maybe sell out a few retail traders or something with very small equal highs. Cool.
Oh yes, I do have something about what that was just addressed about now. That like one down candle.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, like what you see people online, they see that as an order block, right? But then what we do is there's a breaker on the left, you know, and then that's what we look for. But then that people look at that as an order block. So I don't know, like that's what I
Yeah.
realized.
I see. It's like dumb smart money for them because they don't understand that's not a real order block, right?
Yeah.
Then we know that there's imbalance probably at this area. So what they would do is they will come to this area and just tap into this order block, get them very excited, and then take them out. And then full imbalance in line with our breaker, and then probably go to wanted direction. But we also see, remember, there's also an imbalance there.
Michael, just to ask a question. If some of
Yeah.
us are feeling still a bit confused now, with the last things coming up in the advanced with the top-down analysis, will it clear out a lot of the uncertainty we still have?
What uncertainties do you have? Because it will clear out a few of them, but yeah. What uncertainties do you have?
No, like I say, most of it is I understand must just backtest it more and more.
Yeah, so it will clarify some stuff for you, but you really must go back test because the back testing really grounds it for you. And I think once you go, even with some of the people that finishes after the mentorship, right? They come in like 2 months later and then they sense through that they have really started to become profitable because they learn all these concepts, but then can only apply it, like really start to understand the market maybe 2 months afterwards. So there's always like not, I don't want you to be what's the right word, discouraged if you don't understand it completely now. I promise you, if you put in the time and put yourself a relevant goal period, right, and say you want to be profitable in 1 year, or you want to buy your groceries with trading money by the end of this year, by example, that's one of your goals, then stick to that goal, but don't be hard on yourself if you don't reach that goal now in the mentorship. Okay.
But I do understand what the people said earlier, like, because even like this trade we looked at now, what gets me skeptical and I miss the moves completely is always liquidity. Because whether you look up or down, there's always liquidity lying top and bottom. So that, yeah, I'm gonna just get over that.
I understand. It will make more clear once you start to backtest and find liquidity in your relevant trend. Are you with me? So there will always be
Yes.
liquidity. There's liquidity here lying just here now, but it's less likely that they will come to this liquidity because we had a change of character and we want to go up now. And we also respected the golden zone. You with me? So the
Yes.
reason for them creating liquidity here was probably because this was a protected low. Then they like it was two birds with one stone. protected the low and created liquidity, and we're breaking this high. You can see that we had a break of structure just now. So now it's less likely that they will come to grab this liquidity. We look now for liquidity according to our time frame. So now that equal highs on the daily or the 4 hour, that's relevant now. You with me?
Yes.
And even this imbalance,
it-
which is internal liquidity.
And then would it make sense to, like, when the market is ready to go bearish, that then all the liquidity that has been skipped at the bottom would be like point of interest and TPs?
Yes, that would be in the liquidity when they come back down. So they leave this now, it still stays liquidity. So when they say they're done with their business at the top or whatever, then they come down, then that still stays liquidity. So then some retail traders would buy at that area because in their mind, this was a very strong, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, a support or resistance. I don't know, it's a support, not sure, but right, then they would just break down completely. And then, yeah, so they leave these liquidities for whenever they come back. It's like breadcrumbs that they leave behind for them to just come and fetch it whenever they're coming that direction.
Okay.
Okay. I hope that clarified a little bit for you regarding
Michael,
some stuff. Yes.
I just want to ask, since there was a change of character over there, and then you wanted to enter, and then you see a pool of liquidity, and you don't want to be the liquidity, how would you then enter there? Trying to avoid the liquidity, because you see there's a change of character, but then now they're just generating liquidity. Where would you?
Okay, so I would still take the entry. So you guys will learn about psychology as well in advanced, right? So for me, and after the first part of advanced psychology, it will make also sense. So for me, if I wanted to take this trade, I would take this trade regardless, right? So there was a change of character, okay, and this was then my point of interest. So this would, I remember it just tapped into the point of interest, the 12%, right? So the 12% would have been my point of interest. Okay. So regardless, I saw a change of character. I do trust the analysis, right? This would be my trade, this. And then my stop loss just underneath that. If I get taken out, like I get taken out, this would have been my trade, to the top. This was a 12 risk reward ratio. We caught, how many was it? 1,000 pips, right? 1,100 pips. And we lost not even 10 pips. Right? I would still take this trade, knowing that maybe they are creating liquidity and coming back. What I would do, however, is if I see, so we entered there at that sniper entry, right? If I see this break of structure, I would go break even. So whenever price does, however, come back to grab that liquidity, then I won't lose money. To show you a live example of what I did this afternoon, right? So this was the equal highs that it created here. So it was at this area. Okay. So I entered on a sell at this area. This was my sell. That was my stop loss. My take profit was all the way to the bottom. Okay. After I saw this break of structure, I went break even. And can you see that it broke? I just broke even. And then I saw the agenda again and I entered again here. And I got my trade. And I didn't lose any money here because I went break even after my first break of structure. Okay. I hope that
Okay.
clarifies some things for you, because you will learn, you guys will learn about psychology in advanced, and then how to you can, I promise you, and Ali will go through this because she's absolutely a absolute master at teaching, and she will teach you psychology, and you can lose 7 trades, guys, and you can win 2 and still walk out profitable by just applying these stuff. Okay.
So, Michael,
Yes.
I heard you saying you don't go to lower time frames, and I think you said you don't go to, is it 5 minutes or 1 minute? Which time frames do you use?
I
15,
use all of the
30?
time frames, but I use all of the time frames, but I would not
Mm.
advise now if you are not like, I do use this because I spent a lot of time on the markets, right? So this smoke doesn't really confuse me, but if you are still confused of seeing change of characters and stuff, I would stick to 15 minutes for now. And you still
Michael,
have change of character here. But I don't refine. So I do refine my breakers and stuff, but I don't refine much more than 1 hour on my breakers, and my order blocks 15 minutes. Is there any other questions? Or you guys sorted?
I
No
think we are
question.
fine.
You guys fine. So you ready to kill the market? You guys understand change? Not change of character, man. Order blocks, imbalance, and then breakers.
Michael, can we quickly go back to that trade of lunchtime, let's see.
Yes.
No, on the 5 minute, 1 minute is confusing.
Okay, 5 minutes. Yes.
Okay, I'll just draw on the screen while I'm talking.
Okay.
So I think I took mine around this area.
Okay.
And my stop loss was just above there.
Okay.
But yeah, I have a day job, so yeah, I focused on my other stuff, and then when I looked again, it came back, hit my stop loss, and then it dropped.
I see.
So,
I see.
but you mentioned earlier, you also took this move down and broke even. When you saw on the 1 minute, I think you saw the break of structure. You realize that it's basically just liquidity that they want to come grab here and then continue.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a bit difficult for you having a day job, because you can't monitor like you can't monitor when price does that, right? But what would
Yes.
work for you, again, and this you will learn with Ali in psychology, what would work for you as a if you don't have the time during the week to trade NASDAQ, you can trade currencies, and currencies will respect it more, and you can hold it for longer time periods, right? But on NASDAQ, if you have time, or maybe you have during the night, like now, you have time to actually monitor trades, then you can enter on 5 minutes or 15 minutes. But if you don't have time, I would really not advise to then put sell limits and leave it, because like this one, you got taken out. Nevertheless, it was a good risk to reward ratio. I must commend you on that. But it's just
I think
to be able to,
my risk reward was like 5 or 6.
yeah, it's good. It's really good. So it was a good risk to reward ratio. But the unfortunately, when you had this break of structure, you could not go break even. And because once they pushed price down at this area and they had this retracement, when they were at this stage, I was break even. I was at break even because I saw that if they do come back, however, and they want to grab liquidity here, my stop loss is at risk, right? So then I just went break even, and I broke even, and I saw this, and I entered here, I think. here. Because if they really wanted to take out this price, they would take it out rapidly, like this move. But this showed me that it was just a rejection coming back. That also, if this was again a very, very violent move, it would have just broke through, right? But it didn't. And it rejected that high again. And then that was where I entered on the sell.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're recommending, it's for people with day jobs still, it's safer to trade currencies than the indices.
Yes, because indices are very they're very busy. Like they really are creating liquidity a lot. And if you don't have time to monitor it, it's kind of tricky. But currencies though, you can still do this. You know what I would recommend if you want to trade in the indices is trade on a high time frame. So enter on a 1 hour, but then you have to have the capital to be able to handle the drawdown, right? But that's why I would recommend going for currencies, because you can, it doesn't take much drawdown sometimes, but it does move. It does move. Like GJ moves. I love GJ.
Michael,
Yeah.
think- I think what he's trying to say is we don't want day jobs anymore. So can you please give us a 10,000 pip signal?
Facts.
Like, yeah, you guys can see here, like GJ moves. It really does move. And when it moves, like here, this was a 7,300 pip move.
I still need 2,300.
So it was a good pip move, right? So if you are unable to monitor trades like on the 15-minute, then just take the higher time frames and trade the higher time frames. Okay. But Ali will also go through that with you in advanced psychology.
Okay.
Okay.
Michael, there's only 1 minute left, but it's a quick question. Do you have any tips on trading gold, because it is a bit volatile compared to other markets?
Yeah.
I don't really have tips, but let me come back to you on that. I'll come back with you with some tips. Let me go see what gold does and how it like behaves itself, and then I'll come back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all good. I think we're going to wrap it up then. If you have any other questions, you can hit me up personally with the questions. I think we had a good
Sure.
session. I don't know if you guys had a good session. I hope I didn't confuse some of you. I hope there was more clarity than confusion.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you,
Okay,
Michael.
awesome.
Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
Right. Anyone else? Remember, the recaps are from now on Wednesdays, and it's not every Wednesday, it's every second Wednesday. So I will put on the group when our recaps will be from now on. Okay.
No problem.
Awesome, guys. Have a lovely, lovely evening further.
Thank you,
Cheers.
Michael.
Have a comfortable week.
Peace.
Cheers.